Hey everyone, and welcome back to Psych. You know, when we think about mental health, it's important to remember that it's not always obvious. Sometimes, the people who seem the most together are actually struggling. Today, we're going to talk about high-functioning anxiety. High-functioning anxiety is like its own weird beast. It can hide in plain sight, masked by success and productivity. But beneath the surface, it's still anxiety, and it can have a huge impact on your life. So, how do you know if you might have it? Stick around, because in this video, we're diving deep into 10 surprising signs of high-functioning anxiety. Let's kick things off with a surprising sign of high-functioning anxiety overachievement. On the surface, being an overachiever doesn't sound bad, right? But for people with high-functioning anxiety, that drive can be fueled by a deep-seated fear of failure. Instead of feeling proud, you immediately start thinking about the next one. It's like a constant internal pressure cooker, always set to high. Another hallmark of high-functioning anxiety is the inability to relax. For someone with high-functioning anxiety, relaxing can feel impossible. They're stuck in a constant state of go, go, go. Imagine having a free evening but pacing the floor, unable to settle. This restlessness can manifest physically too, like trouble sleeping. Overthinking and excessive worrying are practically an art form for people with high-functioning anxiety. We're talking about worry that spirals outwards, encompassing every possible what-if scenario. Their brains are stuck in overdrive, replaying past conversations and anticipating future disasters. Imagine this. You send a standard work email, but then the overthinking kicks in. Did you sound professional enough? Did you use the right tone? Suddenly, you're down a rabbit hole of worst-case scenarios. This kind of overthinking can seep into every aspect of life, from relationships to decisions big and small. It's exhausting and can make it hard to be present in the moment. If you're constantly replaying conversations in your head, it might be high-functioning anxiety whispering in your ear. Let's talk about boundaries, or rather, the lack thereof. For people with high-functioning anxiety, saying no can feel like an insurmountable challenge. They have a deep-seated need to please others and avoid conflict. They end up saying yes to everything, even when their plate is already overflowing. This constant people-pleasing can lead to resentment, burnout, and a disregard for their own needs. Imagine this. Your boss asks you to take on a new project, even though you're already swamped. You want to say no, but the thought of disappointing them fills you with dread. That's the people-pleaser's dilemma, a common struggle for those with high-functioning anxiety. High-functioning anxiety often thrives in silence. People with this type of anxiety tend to be masters at avoiding conflict. They'd rather bottle up their feelings and maintain the peace. Confrontation triggers their anxiety, making them feel exposed, so they avoid it like the plague. Avoiding conflict becomes a way of life, but avoiding conflict doesn't make it go away. Have you ever met someone who plans their life down to the minute detail? For people with high-functioning anxiety, control equals safety. The unknown is a scary place, filled with potential triggers. So, they try to control as much of their environment as possible. Over-planning becomes their security blanket, a way to create order in a chaotic world. They meticulously plan their days, weeks, even vacations, leaving no room for spontaneity. A little bit of planning is good, But when it becomes an obsession, it might be time to examine the root of that need for control. Is it truly about efficiency, or is it a way to manage underlying anxiety? Anxiety doesn't always manifest in obvious ways. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, disguised as physical symptoms. For people with high-functioning anxiety, this can be especially confusing. They might seem calm on the outside, while their body is screaming with the effects of anxiety. We're talking about headaches, muscle tension, digestive issues, or skin problems that flare up during stress. These physical symptoms can be frustrating because they often don't make sense in the context of the person's emotional state. Anxiety triggers physiological changes in the body, leading to a host of physical symptoms. If you experience unexplained physical ailments, consider the role that anxiety might be playing. Sleep, that elusive beast that evades those with high-functioning anxiety. Sleep is crucial for our physical and mental well-being. But for someone with high-functioning anxiety, sleep can feel like an impossible dream. They lie in bed, their minds racing with thoughts about the day's events and the never-ending to-do list. Their bodies are exhausted, but their minds are wide awake, trapped in a cycle of worry. Insomnia and restless sleep become their nightly companions. Imagine this: you finally crawl into bed, but as soon as your head hits the pillow, your mind kicks into overdrive. That's the cruel irony of high-functioning anxiety. It can rob you of sleep, which is essential for managing anxiety itself. Let's talk about the constant need for reassurance, a hallmark trait of high-functioning anxiety. People with this type of anxiety often struggle with self-doubt and lack confidence in their abilities. Double-checking becomes second nature. Emails are reread a dozen times. Appointments are confirmed multiple times. That's the need for reassurance at play, and while it might seem harmless, it can be exhausting. High-functioning anxiety is often future-focused. People with this type of anxiety live in a constant state of anticipation, fixated on what might go wrong. The present moment becomes a blur, overshadowed by the future. They struggle to enjoy the here and now because their minds are always somewhere else. Imagine this: you're on vacation, sitting on a beautiful beach. It should be idyllic, but your mind is a million miles away, worrying about the flight home and the work that awaits you. That's the fear of the unknown taking hold, robbing you of the joy of the present moment. It's a common experience for those with high-functioning anxiety. So, there you have it, 10 surprising signs of high-functioning anxiety. If any of these signs resonated with you, know that you're not alone. High-functioning anxiety is common and often overlooked because it hides behind success and productivity. But just because it's not always visible, doesn't mean it's not real. High-functioning anxiety can significantly impact your quality of life. The first step to finding peace is acknowledging that you might be struggling. Explore strategies for managing your anxiety, such as therapy, mindfulness, and lifestyle changes. Thanks for watching, and remember, your mental health matters.